So welcome everyone. It is June 30th. We are kicking into month number 7 tomorrow. How cool and crazy is that? The 2024 is literally over halfway over. It just blows my mind how time flies, right? But we're all excited. We're excited to see you guys here for vitamin C. We're going, you guys know the drill with vitamin C, right? This is where you pick up a booster that gives you the immunity against the things that can derail you, things like discouragement and complacency. If you've ever aimed for any goal in life, if you haven't gotten there fast enough, you've probably dealt or met those characters named complacency and discouragement. I watched Inside Out last week, and as I'm talking to you about these characters, I think I need to create a little cartoon about complacency and discouragement and how they come in and they can attack and derail us, right? So, but the little booster, not little, but the massive booster against that is community and celebration. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is that we are expanding our community experience to not just Sunday nights, but also every day of the week. We have 2 opportunities for people to join what we call win calls from Monday through Saturday, right? And so you can join in the morning, you can join in the evening. They're 15-minute calls for clients. They have also a vitamin C for coaches right after that. But I invite you guys to plug in and check it out. I know that I've enjoyed it. It's pretty vibrant and it's short. It's 15 minutes, right? So if you don't have that much time, definitely a good place for you to plug in, okay? So that you can get that community experience. It is a lot bigger than the community we have in vitamin C. And I think that's a great thing because we get to hear from so many other people. Inside of Mission Possible, we have our community, right? Our specific community. And I invite you to continue engaging inside of my Mission Possible. But it's so nice when you can see that this is so much bigger than us, right? And that there's so many other people with so many other stories. And so anyways, I invite everybody to check one of those out. We have the schedule pinned to the top of Mission Possible. So we were just talking about vitamin C, community, how community and celebration is our booster and how you can get a booster of it now twice a day, right? Make sure that you plug into that. And today we're going to go ahead and kick off with our celebrations as we usually do. And then we're going to discuss a little bit about the whole topic of health heroes, our relationships with ourselves and with others. And we're going to be talking about our functional fitness movement that we're going to be kicking off tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start our celebration. Fatima, is it okay if we kick it off with you because you've got lots of great news to share with us?
I'd prefer somebody else first,
You want somebody else to
just
go
so
first?
I'll
Okay,
know like exactly.
sure. Tim, would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, I want to celebrate Fatima. I want to celebrate Matt and a couple other people that I know really that have just crushed their health goals, I
Thank
should
you.
say. But I want to celebrate myself because I got back into doing 2 a days on walking, and I'm almost up to 18,000 steps a day, which is really
Boom.
my dog is flopping like
Awesome.
an NBA loser, but after the walk, but she's having a blast, and so am I. And I'm trying to build that consistency. That's been a challenge. So
That's always good when you tire your dog out, right? It's not that the dog is tiring you out, but you're tiring your dog
Yes,
out. So that's a celebration in and of itself, right? That's amazing, Tim. Congratulations.
definitely. Congratulations.
thank you. You know what? She hasn't started running yet. I'm just walking right now. When we start running, she's going to be angry.
That's awesome. All right. So go ahead, Tim.
So you want me to choose somebody?
Mhm.
Awesome. Pat, you go, girl.
I'm always trying to unmute myself by clicking the tiny arrow, the tiny icon in the bottom of my screen, and that doesn't work of my thumbnail. I last week, so the 15th to the 22nd, I was on a vacation with my family, And so, and yeah, they were at my house for a couple of days before that. So I had a stretch of like 10 days where I wasn't at the gym, and I was just taking walks on the beach. I was, doing things here and there, but my exercise routine is pretty intense. And so I had a lot of anxiety about, if I lost all my like progress for this year, and well, so just like fretting. So I just decided, look, I'm just gonna go, and like when I got back on Tuesday, just go and participate. And if I'm not at my same pace, I'll get there. So I you know, started a little slower on Tuesday, and then a little bit quicker on Wednesday, and then a little bit more on Thursday. And it's just really awesome to see. Yeah, I did, go backwards a little bit. I wasn't ready to go quite as fast as I had been 10 days previously, but I'm getting back up to where I was. I'm not, and it's not all or nothing. It's, and I I thought, okay, well, if I can just be where I was in January, I'll be happy. And I went past that. And then the next day I thought, okay, well, if I can just be where I was in February, I'll be happy. And I got that, and I exceeded that. And so it's just really, it's a nice lesson to experience.
Patricia, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
We talked about the characters, complacency and discouragement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which of those two could have made a massive appearance this past week in your life? Do you think that in the past may have made an appearance?
Oh, discouragement, because I'm at the end of June and I have like goals for the whole year. So I had goals for, each month. And I thought, oh, if I'm at the end of June and I'm not, at this speed on the treadmill, I'm going to just burn the place down. But I just decided to be open and curious and think about a healthier way to approach it. And it really made all the difference.
When you say that you would burn this place down, is it kind of like just throw in the towel? Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
what does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny, isn't it? You're not alone. You're not alone in this. I say this as funny, not as in you, haha, as in we, haha, because I'm sure that we've all been there, right? It's like we'll be frustrated because we're not where we hoped to be. And so what we do is we go on this slide completely backwards,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But because of the discouragement, has anyone ever been there where like when you're disappointed that you're not where you want to be? And so what you do is you totally hijack yourself and move yourself backwards. Has anyone
Yeah.
ever done that? Isn't it crazy how we do that? You're not alone, right? None of you are alone for being that way. But Patricia, what do you think? You talked about being open and curious or whatever. What would you say that has changed in your mindset and the way you think about it that helped you not go down that rabbit hole this time?
It just to take and embrace the step I could take. You know, I couldn't, make myself, magically be at a speed that I hadn't practiced in 10 days, but I could get myself to the gym, and I could get on the treadmill, I could pick up a dumbbell, I could do something.
Would you say that you focused on what you could do instead of focusing on what you hadn't done or what you had hoped you
Yeah.
had done or what you hoped you could be or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Congratulations. That's huge. That's awesome. And so thank you for sharing that. So, Fatima, are you ready to share a little bit about your week? You're muted.
Okay, sorry. I usually when my mother has doctor's appointments, we used to go to the restaurant and eat something out. And I brought my fueling with me, and I just had water and the fueling.
How did that feel?
And Great. I was so proud of myself. And yesterday was my nephew's wedding. I wore a dress that I haven't worn in so long. It felt very good. And at the wedding, I just eyeballed how many ounces of chicken, and I had my vegetables, and that was it. I didn't even have cake or dessert, nothing. And I
what
brought
was
my
your
fueling
mindset
with
through
me.
that?
Yes.
What was your mindset
I
through
was
that?
determined. I'm determined to lose the weight.
And are you open to sharing a little bit of how much you've lost so far?
17 pounds,
In how long?
3 weeks.
Boom. So once again, results are not typical. Everybody's results are completely different at their journey, right? But this is a reminder of what is possible, right? This is what's possible. And just as a little bit of a reminder, why we even started vitamin C is because I get to hear these stories every week when I do my client calls, right? And every time I do my client calls, I get fired up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's possible. Every single week, I'm reminded of what's possible. And I thought, oh, everybody needs to get a little dose of this hit, every week. And that's when we started doing the vitamin C calls because I thought that it was selfish of me to get these hits all by myself, right? So we're all
That's great.
excited for you. Congratulations, Fatima.
Thank
What's one thing
you.
that you have learned over the past 3 weeks?
Disciplined, to be determined to get where I want to be.
Do you think that maybe you remember what you're capable of?
Yes. Yes. Now I know what I'm capable of. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. When we remember what we're capable of, we become unstoppable, right? Oh my
Yes,
goodness. That's
definitely.
awesome. Awesome. So Susan, I know you're driving, but are you able to share a little bit of something you would like to celebrate yourself for this week?
Um, so this might not sound like something to celebrate, but since our community is about healthy mind and emotions, healthy lifestyle, finances, healthy body, I rehomed my horse this week that I've had for 11 years and trained myself and just a lot of life with, and um, just allow myself to work through that. And I'm really happy for my horse because it needs its exercise, and I was not given it exercise anymore. And it was gaining weight, and it's very risky when a horse of my horse's type, they could get foundered, and he's pretty much insulin resistant, and so he's got a really thick neck. So he needs to go. He needed to go somewhere else. So I just proud that I realized that and wasn't stubborn and kept him for all the memories.
What do you think that you've learned through our community, maybe through, the habits of health that helped you navigate this?
Not for sure if I could really pinpoint it. Just that it was, if I held on to him, it's selfish. It would be selfish. I don't know exactly like how the community has helped, except for being okay with sad and then just letting it go, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so sorry that you have to go through something that is sad, right? But I want to give you props for, like you said, allowing yourself to experience that and making a decision that was not based on that feeling. Because I think that's really what's powerful, because you could have said, that's not comfortable, I'm not going to do it, right? And you were willing to do it even when it wasn't comfortable. And then you allowed yourself to experience that discomfort and process that. And so that's huge. And I want to thank you for sharing that, because really our community is about healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, healthy living, right? It's not just about the scale. It's not just about the pounds lost. It's about what we gain. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, you know, Susan didn't lose a pound, and yet she is probably one of my favorite transformation stories that I get to, you know, have been, you know, be involved in and get to watch. It's just so beautiful, Susan. So thank you for sharing. All right, guys. So it is time for us to start talking a little bit about our brain food for this past week. So this past week, we sent out and we posted the video of the health heroes celebrating dads and fathers. And even I want to celebrate dads and fathers, and we want to talk about that. But I want to kind of bring the things that they talked about and apply it no matter what your gender might be, okay? And talk a little bit about those relationships, right? Because we are a little bit estrogen heavy over here, right? We need some more testosterone, right? And so definitely, does any of the estrogen here wish their testosterone was, you know, more involved? We're now talking in hormones, right? Or do you have a testosterone that you love and you care about that you wish they would take care better of themselves, right? And so I want to make sure that we address that, and the fact that all of us, no matter who we are, must make the decision for ourselves. How do you feel when somebody tells you you have to do something? Is there anything that, has anyone here, I'm trying to think of an example right now, but have you ever had an opportunity where there's something you want, then the minute somebody tells you that you have to do it, or you have to all of a sudden you no longer want it? Can you guys think of an example? Because right now I can't think of an example, but I know I've had many of those. Yeah, Tim.
So when somebody tells you have to act a certain way, or you have to keep your emotions under control, that just, it makes you want to do the opposite. Who are you telling me what to do? It's like all of a sudden the inner teenager comes out and says, and we all
that's such a perfect example when you're like emotional, right? And people come and tell you what?
You can't do that. Calm down.
They come and tell you calm down, and you're like, right? Don't tell me to calm down, right? Even though you probably want to calm down. The minute somebody tells you to calm down, all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, right? And whether you are dealing with men or women, because I'm going to be honest with you, when I started this journey, I did it exclusively 5,000% to support my husband. Is there anybody here that, you know, started this health journey because they wanted to support a partner or something like that? I think I might be the only one that I know of, but that was me. And a lot of times, this is one of the things that they talked about on the video, that sometimes men will do that if we ask them, why are you doing this? Because my wife wants me to. Because my daughter wants me to. And so, and I wanted to share my own experience because I was guilty of that. I did it to support him. I didn't do it for myself. I desperately needed it, but I didn't think I needed it. I did it to support him. I did it just for him. And what I discovered then, it like slowly became my journey, right? And once it becomes my journey, then we shift from I have to I get to, and I want to. So there's two different kinds of motivation that they talked about on Monday night, I'm sorry, which is extrinsic motivation, which is the ones from the outside. and intrinsic motivation, which is the one that comes from, this is something I want, right? Which one do you think is stronger?
Intrinsic, the one that's inside, the one that you generate.
Definitely.
Now, for those of you that did not start like I did, just to support somebody else, for all those of you that did start because you wanted something for yourself, what was it that triggered that thing inside of you to say, oh, that's something I want to look into? Did anybody here see somebody else's story? Any of you see somebody else's story? You saw Tim, somebody else's story? Heather, you hadn't seen anybody's story? What connected you to the whole plan program idea of starting?
So my cousin called me and strong-armed me. No, she didn't. But she said, Heather, oh my gosh. She was my original coach. You got to try this. I lost 25 pounds, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And she said, I will pay for your first kit. Give it a try. Because she thought my hang up was money. And I was like, if she believes in it enough to be willing to take money out of her pocket to prove to me it would work, I guess I'll give it a try. And I lost 60 pounds in about 6 months. Results are not typical, but definitely possible.
Yes.
But it was really awesome because the first week I had more energy and mental clarity. And that in itself, for me, being a mom of 5, a registered nurse, and all the stuff, would have been worth it whether I lost the 60 pounds, honestly, because I could be, again, healthy living, being present for my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was more than you asked, but.
No, that's perfect. I love it. Anybody else? Nobody here had seen any other pictures or anything that kind of inspired them? Did anybody get inspired by somebody else's story? Fatima, had you seen any stories or anything like that when you were going to get started? You're muted.
Keeps on getting muted. I know I've seen, but not that I could remember now.
Well, this is
so many things going on, to be honest.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Let me ask everybody else now. When you guys heard Fatima had lost 17 pounds, did anybody here get inspired? Okay. Yeah. That was crazy inspiring. Okay. The reason I want to point that out is the people that we love, whether they're men or women, if we want them to be healthy and we want them to make healthier choices, you know what the best thing we can do for them is be healthy ourselves.
That's true.
Because when we are healthy ourselves, we inspire people to bring out that intrinsic motivation. More often than not, this is an interesting crowd because usually when I ask, why are you part of this community? Most people are like, I saw a picture, I saw a picture, I saw a picture, I saw a picture, And so usually there's something that they saw or they heard that inspired them, brought it from inside that says, oh, if it worked for them, I wonder if it's going to work for me. Right? Now, Susan, you had your hand raised. Was there something else you wanted to say?
Well, when I talked with you, I was inspired that you as a nurse and was able to come home and coach full time. That was my inspiration.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And once again, results are not typical, right? Results vary. It takes work to create a business that gives you that kind of flexibility, okay? But it is possible. Is it possible to lose 17 pounds in 3 weeks? Is it for everybody? Will everybody lose 17 pounds in 3 weeks? No. But has it happened? Yes.
Yes.
And this is the thing, Fatima. I don't want to put you on the spot and you don't need to answer this question, but I talk to a lot of women that are over the age of 40. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing whether you are over the age of 40 or not, that's okay. But what would you say to somebody like that says, I don't think I can lose the weight because I'm a woman and because I'm over the age of 40? What would you say to them?
You could definitely do it. Just stick to the plan. Do what your coach says, and you will lose it. If you do it the correct way, you will lose it.
It can happen, right?
Yes.
It can happen. So this is the thing, no matter who it is, men or women, if we are healthy ourselves and we share our stories, okay, we will inspire people and we will help unlock, because so many people, they've put themselves in a box that says, this is all I'm capable of. We were talking before we started, right, Fatima, about remembering what you're capable of, right? And we
Correct.
put ourselves in this box that says, this is what I'm capable of. And when somebody else comes in and says, you're capable of more, maybe like Heather and her original coach that came and said, you've got to do this, right? I don't know if that's something that went through your head, Heather, but for some people, they might say, I've tried everything, nothing works. Why would I try something new? Patricia, you can relate to that? Heather, you can relate to that? So that's that box that we put ourselves in that says, I can't do it, right? Because my past has proven to me that I haven't done it yet, okay? And yet, when you have the right tools, when you have the right support, it's crazy what can happen. And yet somebody might not be willing to let themselves out of that box until they see your story, until they see your consistency, until they hear how amazing they feel or what they're doing that seems so impossible, right? And so that's really the best thing that you can do for somebody to help take them out of that box. Now, one thing I also want to point out is that we all put ourselves in boxes. Those boxes are our limitations, are perceived limitations, which is something that they talked about on the call as well, was about our capabilities. What am I capable of, right? Do I have the time to exercise? Do I have the time to meal prep? Do I have the bandwidth to count calories, carbs, macros? Do I have the time to block off for vitamin C? Okay. And what we do when we're inside that box, you know what we do? We defend our limitations. And what I like to remind us is, and I say us, myself included, is that when we defend our limitations, we get to keep those limitations. If you want to let go of the limitation, then stop defending it. The minute you find yourself either thinking or saying, but you don't know my story, but you don't know my life, but you don't know my schedule, but the minute that but comes up, that means you're defending. And that means you get to keep that but. Tim, were you going to say something?
Just that kind of struck me funny when you said you get to keep that butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that just really just to comment on that very quickly, I think when you can defend your right to have something better and you can see it, that's when there's a shift, right? There's a total shift in the way that you think. And that takes time. You have to really see consistency. You see consistency, you see payoff. You see payoff, you start realizing this is important to me because it's possible now. It wasn't possible before because I didn't even dream about it before. I came into this for a job. And then I saw my friend Chris and I thought it was amazing. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. But it wasn't motivating me. What motivated me was when I saw what was possible. I began to be a client, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the what? Right? And that changed the can't into can. And once that got flipped on, man, it was just a matter of realizing this is where I used to be, this is where I want to be, and these are the things that I have to do to get there.
And if you're like most of us, we've stopped looking at where I want to be because we've never been able to get there. So, and I know that you and I have talked about this, Tim, that you didn't even, even though you were coming to me looking for a job and looking to coach, the thought of yourself have benefiting from it in your own personal health was not even on the radar because you had stopped even believing it was possible. Okay. And that's why we call our community Mission Possible. And that's why it's so important that you join us when you're having a good week or when you're having a bad week. Because when we can't see what's possible and we hear somebody else's story, all of a sudden it reminds us of what's possible so that we can start thinking again. And then when we start thinking about what we want and we know it's possible, then it's a matter of now defending what's possible instead of defending the possibility. So Fatima, you went to a wedding. In any point of your in time, would you have ever thought in your mind, but I really want to eat the cake? Did that ever happen to you in the past?
In the past, yes.
So, and once again, you're not alone. You're not alone. And so, but I want to eat the cake. And all of a sudden, we become a victim to rules that are imposed on us, right? Where I have to skip the cake. I can't eat the cake. Instead of that, what you decided is I choose not to eat the cake.
Correct.
It's no longer about I can't or I have to. It's I choose. And so one way that you can turn on your intrinsic motivation is to change the words we use from I have to and I can't to I want to, I get to, I choose to, right? So the minute you find yourself hearing, I can't because, I should because, okay, all of that, stop it right there and challenge with, I choose to. You can, I'm telling you right now, I've done this before and I'm going to give you permission again. You absolutely 5,000% can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. That's why most of us are here, is because we have done whatever we wanted whenever we wanted. And by doing whatever we wanted whenever we wanted, we gave up what we really wanted. Okay? And now we're discovering what we really want and that we can have it. And that means that we, in that moment of that cake or that the chips or the ice cream, right? In those moments, we can say, I choose this. I can have the ice cream. I can have the cake, but I choose this. So it's kind of like what Susan was saying. She made a difficult decision this past week. She did not allow her emotions to control the decision. She made the decision, even though it was hard, because she decided it was something that was better, right, for her horse. And so we oftentimes will make decisions that can feel hard for the sake of what we know is better, not because somebody else told us to do it, but because we want it. Okay. I know we're a little bit over, so I just really briefly wanted to cover with you guys the challenge that we're doing this next month. We're kicking it off tomorrow. Okay. It is called the Summer Fun for Functional Fitness Movement. Okay. We're going to be starting a movement, which is to have fun. Yes, Tim.
Just one quick thing before we bounce. I just wanted to give Michelle props for being on tonight because she starts her journey tomorrow. And I'm so excited for her. And Matt is about to realize his why on Wednesday. And I'm so proud of him too. Just rocking this thing. And it's when you want something so bad and you realize I never realized I wanted it that bad until I came
Are you doing your phone call? No.
Within the realm of actually achieving it, that you really start to see what's possible. I'd given up hope. I'd given up hoping. I was looking at surgery and I was looking at other things too. I wasn't hopeful anymore. So by sharing the story and giving me the experience, that changed my life.
Yes. Yes. So I want to challenge you guys to do that. And props to Matt and Michelle and Matt. I can't wait to see pictures. You're going to have to come back and show them to us next week, because for this functional fitness movement, we are going to find the fun in movement. Okay. So it's not about hitting the gym. It's not about getting a certain number of steps or reps or whatever. Those things are important. I'm not knocking it. Okay. But when we look forward to it and when it's fun, we want to do it. And so this month, in the month of July, we're going to be sharing into Mission Possible different ways for you to move your body in a fun way. Now, how will this work? I'm going to share an idea. Let's say, I can't think of one right now, but let's say it's rollerblading, right? And you don't like to rollerblade. That's not fun for you. Well, guess what? Don't rollerblade. Okay? If it's not fun for you, don't do it. The whole point of this is to have fun moving. I'm simply going to be throwing out a whole bunch of different ideas. And the ones you want to try that sound fun to you, I want you to try it. And if you take a picture of yourself and post it on your wall with whatever the activity challenge is. So for example, maybe you're going to have the one-man disco and you're going to turn on the music and you're going to dance, right? And you take a picture of yourself dancing or you take a video of yourself dancing. And then the question is, what song can, always makes you move? So you post the picture and you answer the question and you put the hashtag SummerFitFun and you tag your coach. So it must have the right hashtag and it must have your coach tagged for your name to go into an entry for a drawing. Okay. So whatever the thing is, so let's say I post the one person disco and you don't like to dance. That's not fun for you, but you love to make your dog tired, right? So you take a picture of your dog with the tongue hanging out. Look, I tired him out, right? And you post SummerFitFun, and you tag your coach, then your name is going to go into a drawing, okay? And it has to be public on your wall. So it has to be the right hashtag, you guys, because we won't be able to find your post if you don't use the right hashtag. So it's definitely a deal breaker if you don't have the hashtag in there because we won't find your post and we can't give you credit for it, okay? But if you use the right hashtag and you tag your coach and you do something fun that day, okay, then you're moving, you're having fun, and you're part of this movement, okay? I'm going to be posting the instructions into Mission Possible so that you guys can see how that's going to work. But stay tuned each day to what the activity is for the day. Once again, I want to make this crystal clear. These are ideas, but if they're not fun for you, don't do that. Do what's fun for you. You know what's fun for me? To walk on the treadmill inside where the air conditioning is, watching Korean dramas, okay? So I watch Korean dramas as I walk because there's air conditioning and it's like 5,000 degrees outside in Orlando, Florida, right? So that's fun for me. So you guys are going to see some pictures of me with my Korean characters in the background walking, getting my 10,000 steps, 11,264 we're at right now. Watching the Korean drama because that's what's fun for me. You might be thinking Korean dramas, that's not fun for me. Well, do what's fun for you. Okay, that's the whole point. And every time you post, you get to post once a day. You get entered into the drawing, and we're going to be doing a drawing for a prize every Sunday night. So this is through the month of July, and every Sunday night we're going to be doing a drawing for a prize. Okay, so this is my formal invitation to you to have fun moving your body. That's what this is all. The name of the game is fun. Oh, one last thing. Getting hurt is against the rules. That's also a deal breaker. Okay. So safety is paramount. So as I put, activities for rollerblading or climbing a tree is one of those activities. Getting hurt is a deal breaker. So keep it safe. Okay. Keep it safe. All right, guys, you have a good night. We'll see you back next week.